back to my little channel. Today's video is going to be about the lovely and beautiful world we live in, when boys will be boys and girls will be girls and boys, and somehow that's normal now. It is somewhat worrying to me that we live in a society where reality is no longer an issue for those that want to push a certain narrative, but I'll have to admit that this is what we will have to learn to live with. Now, I wouldn't call it degeneracy. I mean, in a way it may be. I'd more likely call it physical and psychological discomfort. But this is the new norm. We will have to accept this. And funny enough, this means that in a lot of cases, the best man for a situation is indeed a man, but the best woman for a situation turns out to be a man too. Now, obviously not all situations. There are things that men simply can never do. Or at least we haven't found a way to cheat biology. After all, men cannot get pregnant. I mean, we can impregnate, but that's not the same thing. There are certain things women are simply better at than men. Giving birth, obviously, is the biggest example of that. But still, there are people who will like to claim to believe, to know for a fact that both male and female physiology is interchangeable. We live in a society where a woman can do everything a man can do, but shouldn't be proud of what a woman specifically can do. This is worrying to me. Now, what brought on this little rant? Today I want to talk a little bit about Rachel MacKinnon. Rachel MacKinnon is a Canadian philosophy student, I wanted to say. No, not students. Professor. Bloody hell. So Rachel MacKinnon is a philosophy professor. I will use she reluctantly, but I will, because why the hell not? I mean, I don't know Rachel and I don't care. What I do find interesting though is Rachel isn't only a philosophy professor, but also an athlete. And if we read on Rachel MacKinnon on Wikipedia, it tells us that she picked up cycling a few years ago, because before that there were a lot of other things she was really into. I'm not quite sure when she transitioned from male to female. I think it was somewhere around 2010. So let's say 10 years ago. It could be a little bit less. It could be a little bit more. But Rachel has won several contests, cycling contests, between the age 35 and 44. So it is fair to say that when transitioning happened, the age of 20 was well past. Which means that the body that Rachel owns, lives in, is fully male developed. And then after the fully male development stage, decided to transition to female. Now, what does that mean? That means that the body of Rachel is a male body. Yeah, but she's now no longer taking. She's now no longer in a male body, because she has pretty much damaged it by taking female hormones. Well, let me take you to this Wikipedia thingy. And it's Wikipedia, I know people, trust me, you can look it up yourself. But here goes. The female skeleton is generally less massive smoother and more delicate than the male. Okay, that's a nice start, but why do we care? I mean, it's sports. Sports isn't based on your skeleton. That's not really true, because the stronger your skeleton is, the better it can exert the forces that the muscles put on it for explosive power outlets. But let's pretend that the skeletal situation isn't that important for someone who is cycling, which I still kind of disagree with, because your knees and your hips are very much of import when cycling. But muscle mass and muscle strength. Females in general have lower total muscle mass than males. It can go down as much as 50% less than males. And also having lower muscle mass in comparison to total body mass. Males convert more of their caloric intake into muscle and expendable circulation energy reserves, while females tend to convert more into fat deposits. This is a biological thing, it's not something we choose. Neither man nor woman has a choice in the matter. Now don't get me wrong, there are men that have vast fat deposits on their body. I'm one of them, so I know this is something that happens both with male and female. The main importance is this though. It happens far more with females. Men, they may be obese. I am, therefore it's very possible for men to be obese. But even an obese man will have more muscle mass than the average woman. This is weird, but it's also true. Now, gross measures of body strength suggest that women are approximately 50 or 60% as strong as men in the upper body and 60 to 70% as strong in the lower body. So the leg muscles of women are still more powerful compared to their upper body strength, but it's still at, let's say, 2/3 of what a man has. Kind of, a thing, I would say. One study of muscle strength in the elbows and knees, which knees, very important, in 45 and older males and females, found the strength of females ranging to 42 to 63% of male strength. So, roughly half. Take this in consideration, people. A person of 45, whether he's male or female, the strength of their knees is half that of a male's one. A female's strength is half that of a male's one. Another study found that men too have significantly higher hand grip strength than women, even when comparing, and this is important, untrained men with female athletes. Now, you could argue that it's unfair to blame all of this on Rachel MacKinnon. I'm not blaming Rachel. I don't care. It's silly for me to say this, but I seriously don't care. I mean, it's not my problem that the society we have now created is basically saying, no, women are more important than men, but at the same time, we don't give a fuck about women. Because that's what we're doing. We now have a female transitioned, so a male transition to female, maybe I should have said that, that is dominating in a sport. And there are other sports where trans women are dominating female sports. And they claim that they don't have an advantage. And it is funny because this is something that Rachel MacKinnon herself is saying, and this is something I wanted to point out. Why do I want to point it out? Because it shows the incredible hypocrisy in people like this.
To keep that focus on me, there is no scientific data on athletes that shows that trans women have an unfair advantage over cisgender athletes.
Okay, so that's basically all I wanted you to see. There is no study on athletes that prove that women have a disadvantage. Or sorry, that trans men have a disadvantage. Trans women have a disadvantage. That trans women have an advantage over normal women. Now, it's an important thing to note what she said. It's not that she said trans women don't have an advantage over women. What she said is there has been no study on this for athletes. And that word athletes is a very important one because we have plenty of studies proving male physiology and female physiology. But then again, mind you, professor of philosophy. And philosophy is nothing but the way to train to think. Language is a form of shaping thoughts. So here we have a trans athlete who is basically saying, well, I mean, there may be lots of proof that men are physically stronger than women, and therefore that men transitioning to women may have a significant advantage over actual women, but it's never been researched in athletes. This is basically the only point Rachel here is making. Oh yeah, you can complain about this or that, but the point you're making hasn't actually been studied. Oh, there are many other studies that prove that women are disadvantaged when it comes to sports towards men, but that's women and men. That's never been women and trans women. Therefore, boom, it's not been studied. And people will actually fall for that. There are actually people out there who say, yeah, but how can you complain? I mean, they're taking hormones. And if they're taking hormones, they are no longer men. Yeah, but those hormones help you build the muscles you have. Once those muscles are built, it'll take a lot of time for those muscles to disappear. But the funny thing is, if you're an athlete, you're going to train. And if you train, you keep your muscles active. It's not the hormones that will keep your muscles active. It's actual, physical, intensive action. So, let's put it like this. When you go through puberty as a boy, testosterone helps you build muscles. Testosterone doesn't make you stronger, but it will help you get the stuff you need to become stronger. Then, once you're a fully grown adult, your testosterone takes on different tasks, but it still helps to maintain and build your muscles. That's why men, if they don't train, will still outperform certain female athletes that do train, because there's that bit. But men that train compared to women that train, that's no fair comparison, because then men both have the base level that will always be there, plus their training. Yeah, but trans women take hormones, so testosterone is of less import. Yeah, fair enough. But if you then continue to train, the fact that you're not taking much testosterone doesn't mean a thing. The body is already there. The muscles are already there. It's the training part that now does the job. Well, but you're a bigot. And it's funny because that basically is the argument. You're a bigot. If you disagree with the fact that trans women are women too, you're a bigot. Even though there's plenty of proof that shows that it's unfair. It's not unfair to me. I don't mind. I'm not a woman. But it is very funny to see that people are taking up this, how do you call it, sword? This fight, let's call it that. People are taking up this fight to claim that transgender woman is the same as woman. And merely mentioning that this may not be the case makes you a bigot. After all, doctor, because Rachel MacKinnon is a doctor, in philosophy mentioned that earlier, I have yet to meet a real champion who has a problem with trans women. Real champions want stronger competition. If you win because bigotry got your competition banned, you're a loser. But with that very same explanation, Dr. Rachel MacKinnon, if you win because bigotry got you into a competition that wasn't supposed to be there for you, does that then not make you a loser? I would argue this is the case. That's the second page. Oh, by the way, this is from the Daily Caller. Links will be downstairs. The thing is, the people who oppose trans women full and equal rights think that the facts are on their side. This is why they always come back to common sense. That's not an argument, loves. It's the last refuge of the ignorant. It means you've already lost. Bad. But those of you who have listened to me talk so far probably haven't heard me say it's common sense. Because I haven't said it's common sense. What I have said is that there's a vast difference between male biology and female biology. But that somehow means I'm a bigot. It's funny like that, isn't it? But I didn't come back to common sense, and I will state what I did. And I will have links downstairs. You can look it up if you want to, and most people probably won't, because that's how it works in our current day and age. But it's really funny that trans people are doing whatever they can to prove that they are women. And how are they proving it? By destroying women. It's so incredibly painful. Anyway, this is my rant. I've said all I wanted to say. Don't get me wrong, it's not that I'm against trans women. Not at all. I mean, listen, it's your life, do what you want to do. But I am against trans women claiming to be the same as women. Let's be honest, they're not. Now, there's plenty of reasons why one thing is not the other. That's not the point I'm trying to make. But if we truly want to be fair, and in sports it seems like a reasonable suggestion to be fair, there's a reason we have male and female competitions. But maybe if this transgender thing truly is going to continue, we should have a third category. One for male, one for female, and one for transgender. Because let's be honest, you may think you're the opposite sex. You may live like you're the opposite sex, and you will have respect from me either way, because again, your life, do what you want to do. But let's recognize that there are differences between transgender women and biological women. Just like there are differences between transgender men and biological men. For one thing, a transgender woman will never be able to do what is typically a woman's thing. Anyway, like, share and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Please share this one, because hey, you know, YouTube, and I'm not a big YouTuber anyway, so who cares? I know, but this is very important, because this is something that will eat our society. It's already eating our society, in my humble opinion, and I'm not blaming transgender people. That's not the point I'm making at all. Now, people like Rachel MacKinnon, yeah, they're a problem. But they're not a problem for me, they're a problem for women. funny enough. And talking out against it makes me a bigot. So I never thought I'd have anything in common with a feminist, but it seems I do. Yeah, in a strange way. I do believe women are women, and I do believe women deserve respect. Does that mean I don't believe trans people deserve respect? No, I think they deserve respect too, just as much as anyone else does. I have a problem with people trying to claim what is not theirs. Anyway, going to start all over again. I'll not do that this time. I hope to see you all next time. Criticism, as always, is more than welcome. And have a good day.